Hi guys, I hope you're doing fine. Let me turn there. Welcome to Charity's Bubble. I'm coming from school. I am coming from my school area. I'm coming from the parking lot. And I am going home. So I'm gonna do a short video about the feedback for yesterday's video. And I want to talk a little bit about the DV lottery and the questions that you guys have and all that stuff. So I hope you're doing fine. I hope you are doing perfect. I am doing fine too. And I was looking at someone over there. So guys, now back to paying attention. So we are going to talk about the video that we did yesterday. Got a lot of feedback there, and some questions popped up. So this information about the DV lottery, and before I go there, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly consider subscribing, guys. I'm really amazed by your support, guys, and your support. So let's talk about the DV lottery information, where it comes from, and all that stuff. So this is for the new members. This place is called Butler. So why do I do my thing about the DV lottery, and like how about that information? So why I started my YouTube channel about the DV lottery, and this is for the new people, is because I came to the US through a DV lottery, guys. I've been here for 8 years, and I went through the whole process. But there was something that caught my attention, that from the time that we won the DV lottery, leave alone even the time that we won the DV lottery, and before we did the application, we did not know that the green card existed, guys. And I've seen people who have made comments in my YouTube channel and saying that, what is that? Like, how do you go about it? Like, they have so many questions. So at one time, that was like 8.5 years ago, I was in that position. I didn't know anything about the green card lottery. And there was, there was nothing, because I only knew that if you wanted to go to the US, you needed to have a relative. That's all I knew. That if you had a relative, you would go to the US. But if you didn't have a relative, then that was it. But the green card thing, this green card thing, you don't need to know anybody in the US for you to do the application. It doesn't need you to have money for you to do the application. It doesn't need you to come from a rich family for you to do the application. So when we did our process and everything, we had so many challenges, guys. Very many challenges that we faced when we were doing our application, and we overcame them. So my main aim, my main theme of starting my YouTube channel was to tell that person who doesn't know about the DV lottery that it's there. And you find that there are some people, I know technology is everywhere right now, everything is going digital, but there are still those people who do not have that technology. Let's assume like someone is living somewhere in the village, and they don't have this information, but maybe someone has shared something about it, or maybe someone have shared, this is the website that you can go and you apply for your DV lottery, and you do not need a passport, you don't need all that stuff, but you can do your application. And this is how you do it, because that one is needed, even the feedback. So where does this information come from? I normally tell you guys that this is not my information, this is public information. And that is why, if you go to the website travel.state.gov, you will read that information there. Even whatever you are, in what part of the country, if you go to that website, you will read that information, because that information is there so that you can be enlightened and know more about the DV lottery. That is why that information is there. I'm wondering which of my mirrors is not locked. because one of them is not locked. Yeah, because the wind was coming on. So that is why I do my my channel about the DV lottery, because I know there is someone who is like me out there who has no clue, and they would like to go abroad, and they don't have a way. Because I tell you guys, if we were supposed to be like handpicked like this in my family or in among the society, I would have been the last person to be picked to come to the US. So that's why I talk about the DV lottery. And like just try to tell you, this is when you can do the application, some of the common mistakes that people make. And I do not charge anything, guys. I don't charge anything. I can't tell you that you need to pay me this amount of money so that I can do the DV lottery. No, I just read those instructions, make them easier. Make them easier, because you find that, let me tell you one challenge that I faced when I came to the US, is that the English that we are taught, especially in Africa, is the Britain English. So some of the things, like, it's hard for someone to get it. It's hard. So and I remember doing my English class, because I did my English class. I had so many challenges, and I was not understanding, like, what are they asking me? Are they asking me about, and it's not something that I don't know, but the word that they are using is different. So that's kind of the way I was at that time. And what I do is that I tell you, watch my video, go to travel.state.gov, literally the information. You will know how to fill out the green card. Try it out, try it for your own benefit. So that's why I started this channel. Because someone asked me, like, why do you talk about the DV lottery? Are you an attorney? No, I am not. This is public information. Anybody can talk about the DV lottery, But since I've gone through it and all that stuff, I'm like, where I got the information, I'm gonna let people know. Because you find that there are some people who have, like, they have shops, cyber caves, whereby they wait until this time when the DV lottery starts in October, and they start charging people. They are like, I'm gonna fill it out for you, and this is the amount that you're going to pay me. Or some of them, they fill it out for you, and then they don't give you your confirmation number. So when you have been selected, because they will check, because they know that in May they have to check. When they find out that you have won the DV lottery, they will start charging you money, and that one can be eliminated if people are aware. If you are aware that you can go to a certain website and you do the application by yourself, you can do it on your phone. If you know the right photograph to use, if you know the information that you're supposed to put in there, if you don't want to have challenges, like, for example, you did the application by yourself, you didn't include your family members, and then you went to the American embassy and they asked you about your family, and you told them that you have a family, and then they deny you because you did not, because there are rules. I never knew that there were rules about the DV lottery, guys. I did not know all that. So that is why I do my thing about the DV lottery, and I really appreciate the feedback. So I'm gonna go and talk about some of the things that you guys mentioned. There was this person who mentioned that if he did do the application for the DV lottery, and the wife had not gone to high school, if that would affect them. Now, the DV lottery, the main thing is the main applicant. The main applicant must have, that's a requirement, that they have the education, the high school education. That's the minimum. So if you haven't gone to high school and your spouse did, then you can be the second person, like a derivative. The derivative is that person who, like, if I did the application, my husband would be the second derivative and my kids would be the third and fourth consecutively, depending on the family members. But the main applicant, the person who starts application, this stuff falls on that person. It still applies if the spouse has got the Form 4 certificate or the high school diploma, because they can do two separate applications. You can do that. You can do two separate applications, and you have to get two entries. You can do that. But you cannot do multiple applications. You cannot apply here and then you go another place you apply. Like you cannot apply 10 times. This is not like the DV lottery is not like the way you go to do for the money lottery, whereby they say the more you apply or the more you buy the tickets, the more chances of winning. No, the DV lottery is different. It's very, very different. You only apply once as a primary applicant, and then if you are married, you can put your wife and your kids. And then if you want to do 2 entries, then the wife can be the main applicant, and then the husband, and then the children. So that's the way it can work. But you cannot say that you are going to apply 10 times, and then after you do the 10 times, then you expect that the more you apply, the more you win. No, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. So it's very, very important for you guys to understand. I'm still showing you the road. This road is very quiet. Not many cars like pass here, and most of the parts is land. It's land, and you know. So that's one thing that was asked by this person. And then there is another one who was asking about if they require the birth certificate when they are doing the application. Now the birth certificate, you don't require it like physically, but it's good to refer to the names that are there, because when you're going to get your passport after you win your DV lottery, remember this one, that passport rule that was removed. And that's public information, guys. You can Google it, and it's public information. So when you win your DV lottery, you will need to go and get a passport for yourself, for your family members. So for every place, they have to they have to make sure that you are born in that country for them to give you a passport. So you need your birth certificate at that juncture. So the thing, you could refer to your birth certificate and see the correct names that are there, so that you are sure that the names that you're putting there, you will not have a problem of thinking of getting an affidavit because your names are wrong. The other thing that's important is now this was another question that was asked. It was about I don't know why I kept the sticky note. I have a sticky note here that I am looking. Now, if you're pregnant and you did your application and then you didn't include that child there, and then you have the baby and you have won. Now, they're not going to have you leave the baby by itself. No, they will not do that. There is something that's called a change of life. You just need to notify them. You notify them that you had a new baby, and they will tell you accordingly. They will tell you accordingly on what to do. And there's the other one was if here in the US, people do have jobs when they do not have a diploma or they do not have higher education. Yes, they do. It's not a must that you go to get a degree for you to get a job. No, it's not. But remember, that is when you are here. Before you come to that hurdle of choosing whether you have gone to school or not, you have passed that hurdle of the DV lottery. It has been processed and you have been given the visa to travel, and you have come in here and you have become a permanent resident. So when you are a permanent resident, it doesn't matter whether you go to school or not. It does not. I would say that it does not matter. And on the other side, to some people it matters. Like for me, it matters. I want to go to school. But if you talk to my husband, he will say it doesn't matter. So long as you're able to make money, you're able to make an honest living, then it doesn't matter, because people have different views and it's good to accommodate them. There are some people who come to the US and they're like, this is my opportunity to change my life. This is my opportunity to better myself. And they go to school. That's what I did. There are some people who come and they're like, no, I don't want to go to school. I want to work. I want to look for money. So you have all those options on the table. And that's why I like to talk about the US, because there are so many opportunities that are there, guys. There are so many opportunities that are there. And not even work, and not even about money, even about health, guys. Just health. Like going to the doctor, seeing the doctor, maybe you have this problem. Sometimes I feel sad when I watch people on social media and they have kids. Kids are very sick and they need this medical attention. and they have to move from. There was this one I was watching from Kenya, whereby this child had this problem, and they were taking that child to India, but then unfortunately that child died in the course of that whole process. But you know, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, if that child was in the US, in the US, like they do everything that they can for a person, and it doesn't matter whether you are from a poor background. It doesn't matter whether you are rich. It does not matter, guys. So that's an opportunity, and that's why I tell you guys, fill out the DV lottery. You know, just fill it out, and have that anticipation that when you come to the US, not only will you expect like a better life expectancy, but at the same time, even for your health. You know, I've had so many experiences in healthcare, and one of them is whereby when I was having my children, and going to the hospital with gestational diabetes and high blood pressure when I was pregnant, and not receiving the right care, and having a child, and that child ending up passing away because they did not have the right resources, you know, and I did not have all that information that I would know that this child needed 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this is what we were supposed to buy, and for that child to get treatment. I hope you're getting it. But you find that here, when it comes to healthcare, it doesn't matter. When you show up in the ER and you don't have any money, even if you are homeless, you will be treated. There's a law that protects, like they are not going to charge you before they treat you. No, they don't ask you for money. Of course, they will ask you whether you have insurance and all that, but that comes after you have been admitted and you have been seen by the doctor. It's when someone is going to come in and they start asking you about all that stuff. And even if you don't have insurance and you don't even have a job or whatever, it's fine. They have other sources that they can direct you to, and you will be able to get help. See what I mean? And I have a good example. I remember when I was having my Olivia. My Olivia is 6 years old right now. I still had that problem of having gestational diabetes and high blood pressure. So I remember I had been administered in a hospital, and I was so worried because, you know, I was very new in the US, and I was thinking like, oh my gosh, where are we gonna get all this money to pay? Like, you know, because you are in a private room and you have everything. Actually, I think I had my own nurse because I was very sick, and so I was thinking, how are we even gonna be able to pay even a private nurse? You know, that's what I was wondering. Yes, we had insurance, because when you come in here, the first thing that you think about is getting insurance. But all those thoughts were going through my mind. So I remember I asked the nurse who came in. I was like, I think you should give me permission to go home, because I don't know how we are going to be able to pay this amount, you know, because I was thinking in terms of the way I had gone to a hospital back home, and I had paid lots of money, you know, lots of money. And some of them we had to pay up front for the labs and all that. And then you end up empty-handed, you know. You go home. You know, I have that experience of going home. You are pregnant and you go home with an empty, you know, that basin that they have you buy when you're going to the hospital, and you have all those clothes for your baby. You have carried those ones when they are empty coming from the hospital. You know, I was expecting, but then I didn't take my child home, which is kind of sad. So I remember when I was in that hospital, I called this nurse. I was like, I can't be here. I need to be discharged to go home, because we can't afford, like, you know. And I remember, oh my gosh, there was so much concern. And then they said that you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about anything. And, you know, it had not clicked in my mind that this was a different country, or it was a different thing. So it kept on bugging me. So when my husband came, we talked about it, and then we called them again. We told them, we can't be here. We need to go home, because we can't be able to pay these bills. Because I remember I ended up staying in the hospital for close to 4 weeks. But then I remember they said, no, you cannot be discharged because you don't have money. you cannot be discharged, and you have insurance. But I remember the insurance that I had at that time was not covering that hospital. So they told me it doesn't matter. You are going to stay until you get the right treatment, and then when you're better, when you're good, when you feel like you are out of danger, then you can go home. And they had all these resources that they showed me and all that. And I remember the bill that I got was just, I can't even remember, it was so less, like it was even less than $50. So when you come here, you find that everything, like what you know, what you have known in all those years, that it's hard to go to, even to a government office and get some documentation. It's hard even to go and get a passport. You find that here when you are doing an application for a passport, you just go to the post office. They take your picture and you give your documents. And then your passport is gonna find you in your house through the mail. Like it's everything is structured in a way. And that's why I'm passionate about talking about the green card, because I feel that if you had that opportunity, it is not that, and I like to tell you, like when you fill out the green card, it's not a must that you're going to win it. But what is the harm of trying to do the application and do what they want, do the requirements, follow the instruction and everything, and then try. You know, it's good to try, you know. Another thing that like you would really like is the kids. Because the kids, like they have, unless they decide to take the wrong route, their life is like it's set. That's what I can say. Because you take your child to school, yes, you can decide you're going to take them to a private school or you're going to take them to a public school. It doesn't matter. Maybe you will have to pay a little bit of money, but it's not like the hefty money that we were paying in Kenya. I remember taking my kids to a private school. It was like a fortune. You know, the money that we were paying, it was even more than the money that I was paying to go to high school. You know, it was a lot. Like, we were like, why are they charging us all this? But you can't question because you don't have your own school to go to. But here you find that even if maybe you have decided that this is what you're gonna do, and you take your kids to school, maybe you can't afford to buy it for them lunch all the time and all that. There are so many resources for kids. This one is not even for adults, for kids. So when you look at all those goodness, of course there are disadvantages, and you know, but the good outweighs the bad. And you find that when it comes to disadvantages, is if you decide that you wanna not follow the rules, because you have to follow all the rules. If you decide that you're gonna be bad, then it's gonna be on the other side of you. But if you come here when you're focused, and you get lucky and you get that green card, guys, because it's luck, guys. It's, you know, it's a miracle that you get the green card. Then you know that your life has changed. It has changed. You know, even like, you know, right now I'm driving, right, and you can see the signs here, like 50 miles an hour, whatever. But then maybe I'm overspeeding. If I'm overspeeding and I am stopped by a policeman, here it's so different. It's very, very different, because you find that when the policeman comes in, they say hi to you and all that, and then they ask you for your driver's license, they ask you for your insurance, and then they tell you very politely, I'm going to give you a citation because you are driving at a speed limit of this, and this is over this and this road you're supposed to drive on this certain speed limit. That's it, end of story, and that's done. And then you go home, you figure out how you're going to pay your ticket. You see what I mean? But you find that I've been in other situations whereby, like we've gone through in a mart. You know, the mart is the public transport. We are in a mart, and that driver is overspeeding and all that. But then, when they are stopped by the policeman, instead of like the policeman like outlining, this is what you did or whatever, this is why I'm stopping you, they used to give a little book, like a little book, whereby that little book they would give the policeman in a way, and then the car would be let to go. Now you can't do like that here. You cannot bribe a policeman. That's a crime. You cannot. Like, you find that here, how I see it is everything is structured. There, you know, it's a system. There's a system of doing this. Another thing is even school. They are not going to discriminate you against school, like maybe Now, like me, I'm a mom, I have kids, my son is older, he's almost 20 now. And they are not going to tell me that because you have a 20-year-old son, we are not going to admit you to the school. No, you can go to school even if you are 50 years old. Even if you are, it doesn't matter, you can go. They are not going to say, but you find that it was hard even for us. I remember when I did my KCSE, I had passed. But it was hard even to get into the university, because you find that there was a time that even going to the university, you had to kind of know someone. Now here you don't need that. You just need to apply online, and then when you do your application online, they send you information. And if you need to apply for a student loan, they send you all that information, and then you go to class. That's how it's done. Like everything is, I tell you about the US, like it's different, guys. But maybe, you know, I talk to my friends and they say like it's normal, but for me it's not normal, because I grew up in abject poverty. Like oh my gosh, oh my goodness, guys, it was bad when we grew up. But when I compare that and I compare this, I think this is better, and that's why I talk about the green card. Fill it out, guys. Fill out the green card. It's gonna be on in October, and we are gonna go through that form. It's an easy form to fill out. And another thing that I want to encourage you is, please, you can ask, you can type a question there, but you find that I've just liked it and I haven't talked about it. If I don't talk about it, I have already done a video about it. I've done a video about it, and that's why maybe you think that. But I've liked your thing, but I'm not going to talk about it, because I don't want to keep on repeating myself. It doesn't make sense. So guys, when you watch the video, watch it to the entirety, because there is something that is there that can help. You know, it's all about helping. And of course, after you have watched a video, and after you have had that information, go to the source. Read about the DV lottery. There's so much information out there, but do not go to the websites that are charging you. The other websites that charge you, that travel.state.gov website doesn't charge. You just go, you type DV lottery, whatever, the information comes out. You type out DV information, DV lottery information address. You'll find the information. You can type DV lottery photo tool. All that is there. And if you know what I say, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you really have. Even if you're not finding it, you really have to look for it, because when you're doing the application, you will find it. So even the other information, look for it. Even when you win, you'll still have to find that that website, so that you can check whether you have won or not. It doesn't matter which country that you are in, because that information is there. It's available. It's public information that is there. It's not that it's classified information. No, it's not. It's just public information that everybody can read. But my aim is to reach that person who has no clue what's a DV lottery, and they would want to like try and change their life. And with the hand of God, God changes stuff. God changes things, and you never know. You never know about tomorrow. So guys, I needed to talk about that. I don't know if I have another one that someone asked. You talked about the spouse, the pregnant. There's another person who was asking about the result slip. If you have the result slip and you know that your results are going to be out by the time that you do your processing of your papers, then use your results. You say that you have your results slip, but you don't have that main next certificate, then you reached Form 4. But remember that when you are doing when you're filling out your DS-260 and all that, they will require you to have that one, because when you go for your interview, they will require like a hard copy of it, and of course you have to have a verification. It's very important. They will ask for a verification to make sure that it's authentic, to make sure that your certificate is authentic. So there was that one, and then I'm trying to navigate over here. Here is there's a road. They're working on this road, so here you have to drive very slowly at 50, and be careful. because there are many people on the road. So you have to be, as you can see, this road has been, it's so thin because it's been, it's so narrow because it's been closed on one side. They're trying to join those two roads over there, but then I'm almost out of the work zone. It's called a work zone. And like I said, when you're getting out of the work zone, you see a sign. There's always a sign that tells you that you're not on the work zone. You see there, that's the end of work zone. And you really, if you're driving on a place that there's a work zone and you don't follow the instructions of the speed limit, it's very, very easy to get a ticket. And those tickets are hard ones. They're hard tickets because you know that you're supposed to be driving at that limit. There are people involved around. It's like when you're over speeding on a school area. A school area, you're supposed to drive at 20 miles per hour, and then you're found driving at 50 and kids are crossing. Oh, you put yourself in a lot of trouble. So I think I talked about most of the things. The application, we are going to do it as everything approaches. And of course, I talked about the job with degrees. I don't know if I finished that one, but you can, but that is after you have jumped the hurdle of processing your DV lottery and getting your green card. So I hope that this video is going to help some of you guys, and I hope it's clear why, the reason behind I talk about the DV lottery, because myself, I'm a DV lottery winner, and you know, I'm proud of my achievement. I'm very proud of my achievement. So guys, I will see you in another video. Thank you and God bless you.